found this 1998 1.3 5-door model for sale locally, and I knew that was going to be a good base for the next project. Didn't really want a 5-door. I did prefer a 3, but at the time I was very eager to get another car and sort of just took what I could get at the time. I started off by fitting the 15-inch wheels and the bucket seats that came out of the green car, as well as fitting some factory fog lights to the front bumper. The bodywork was looking a bit boring, so I decided to add some Nismo-inspired stripes along the side of the car and on the bonnet. A lot of people questioned why I'd done the graphics so early, but it all worked out in the end. Next came a few modifications, which included LED taillights, an Ashley catback exhaust system, unfortunately this was mild steel, and a Seat Ibiza front splitter, which I flipped upside down and fitted to the rear bumper. I finally lowered the car with some 30mm PI lowering springs using the standard shocks, and also the 15-inch alloy wheels received a lick of gloss black with a red pinstripe. The engine bay had a bit of a tidy up, painted the rocker cover, had a stainless battery cover made, and I started to cover some of the pipes and wiring with some conduit. The Cobra bucket seats were getting a bit worn on the bolsters, so it was a good excuse to sell them and to buy some new ones. So I got some fixed bucket seats from a company called Auto Style. The budget range of bucket seats, so they weren't the best, but they certainly weren't the worst by far. I started to get creative when it came to modifications, so I went down to the local scrapyard and picked up some side skirts from a Rover 400 series, flipped them upside down and self-tapered them to the sill. The black headlights made a return on these, and you can just about see in the black area. I decided to fit some strobe lights for some reason. Thicker anti-roll bars front and rear supplied by Whiteline, as well as a Whiteline panhard rod. When you lower the Micra, it shifts the axle, so this makes it central. The bad boy bonnet had returned. Again, it was one of the things I'd loved most about the car, so it just made sense to redo it again. I managed to find a genuine Nismo boot spoiler. These are very hard to come by nowadays, so yeah, it was great to say that I actually had one. A flocking company in Southend sponsored the car and offered to do the dashboard, the trims and all the door cards for me. With the help from my friend James, he helped me make these speaker pods, and we fitted some Fusion component speakers and the crossover into the door card. It was time for some new wheels. So these are Caliber Dub 15x7, I believe, with a little bit of stretch. The alloy wheel company told me that they were too wide and they won't fit, but I love proving people wrong. I had some custom bumpers made to replicate the Super S and SR bumper on the pre-facelift. The bars on the front bumper were made from scratch. The rear bumper was smoothed, and a number plate plinth from a Mark IV Fiesta was cut down to size and blended into the bumper. I made some carbon fibre door cards out of some sheet carbon fibre. Had never done anything like this before, so yeah, it was good trial and error. I bought a roll cage from the Owners Club. No idea what it was actually out of. I think it was from a Corsa B, but I'm not too sure. Changed the harnesses to some red 4-points and also painted the floor black hammerite. I'm afraid to admit, but I did go through the sticker bomb phase and decided to sticker bomb most of the interior plastics, including the roof lining. I got my first ever magazine feature. This was in Banzai, and it was a reader's ride where I pretty much wrote the article and I took the photos. The back end of the interior got a lick of paint, and the battery was relocated too. Of course, every time when you do a new modification or new wheels, you've got to take some more photos. So here's some photos at a local graffiti wall. I was lucky enough to get a second magazine feature in the 5 years of ownership. This time it was with Total Nissan. My friend Mark Half, who sadly isn't with us anymore, he very kindly took the photos for me, because Total Nissan couldn't get a photographer down to our area in the time frame that they wanted the feature done. So yeah, Mark stepped up and provided the goods, and he's done a cracking job. In the 5 years of ownership, I did achieve quite a lot with the car, more than I ever expected, to be honest. But unfortunately, the time had come to move on to the next project. I wanted more power, and the only way I could do that was to sell the car for parts and to start a new one. So my partner had a Mark II MR2 non-turbo at the time, and I was driving that, but I couldn't find one in my budget, so I decided to look at other alternatives, and I come across the Mazda MX-5. So managed to find one local, and that was going to be the next money pit.